Hello, good day, and you're welcome as usual to the channel. It's beautiful to have you back. Today, we're going to ask ourselves what are hypersensitivity reactions and what are allergic reactions? What causes them and why are they important? Now, an allergic reaction or a hypersensitivity reaction is a sustained and an exaggerated response that the immune system gives to the presence of either particular substances, pathogens, pollutants, chemicals, or any other types of substance. So any chemical compound or substance that has the capacity to trigger an exaggerated response from the immune system. That's what we refer to as an allergen. And this kind of response we say is an allergic response or a hypersensitivity reaction. Now, these reactions do occur in the immune system, and it's important to get them out of the way. Now, we might ask that what are some of the reasons why this occurs? There are many factors. There are genetic factors at play, there are environmental factors at play. You have pollutants also playing their own role, and genetics comes to play, family history comes to play, diet, and then even where you live, your geographical location also plays a role in developing these hypersensitivity reactions. So this is quite important to note. Now, before there are majorly four different types of hypersensitivity reactions. You have type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. But before we go into discussing these four types, is good that we talk about what we call the hygiene hypothesis. Now, this is a hypothesis that has been put out by some scientists in which they argue that the environment in which a child grows up, has some effect on the strength of the immune system of the child or the adult. So the point being that if a child grows up in an environment that is quite dirty, and meaning that that child has to interface a lot with a lot of pathogens, that this helps to modulate or build the immune system in such a way that that child is built to be stronger. The immune system of that child is built to be stronger, to be able to withstand different kinds of pathogens and illness, so that in future, when the child comes in contact with different pathogens and illnesses, the child is able to withstand it and survive better, as opposed to a child that grows up in pristine conditions, in conditions of cleanliness, in conditions of high sanitation. That those kind of children, because they don't come in contact with a lot of pathogens, that their immune system is not well developed, is not built, is not modulated enough in the right direction for them to face and be able to overcome different pathogens. Now, like I said before, it's a hypothesis, and if you know what a hypothesis is, it's an educated guess. So we call that the hygiene hypothesis. This is important because when you discuss about allergic reactions, the hygiene hypothesis comes to play here, because it is possible that infants who later grow up to be adults, if they're exposed to more pathogens, they may be more resilient in their response to these pathogens when they grow up to become adults. Now, let's talk about the four different types of hypersensitivity reactions. The first one is what we call type 1 hypersensitivity, and we usually refer to them as allergic reactions. Allergic reactions, and these are of different types and kinds, but majorly they are mediated by our immunoglobulin E, IgE. It mediates these kind of reactions, and there are so many different types. We have reactions such as hay fever, rhinitis, you have asthma. All of these are type 1 types of hypersensitivity reactions. So it's a kind of hypersensitivity reaction where the immune system reacts to the presence of pollutants and certain things within the environment, and this response is mediated by our immunoglobulin E, IgE, and I've given you examples. Secondly, we have what we call our type 2 hypersensitivity reactions. Type 2 hypersensitivity reactions, and these ones are also what we call cytotoxic hypersensitivity reactions, and they are mediated by immunoglobulin M and G. So IgG and IgM mediate these reactions, and these reactions are quite important to know. And we usually see this kind of reactions in a lot of blood cells. You see a lot of blood cells. So reactions that you see occurring during blood transfusion, reactions that you can see that lead to anemia, and all these other kind of reactions. Also, there's a disease which we call Graves' disease. All of these are all hypersensitivity type 2 hypersensitivity reactions, And this is important to know. So you have type 1 hypersensitivity reactions, type 2 hypersensitivity reactions. We also have type 3 hypersensitivity reactions. And these type 3 hypersensitivity reactions are immune complex mediated. Immune complex mediated hypersensitivity reactions. And what do we mean? Now, many a times there are when pathogens find their way into the body, you have the build-up of an immune complex, or what we call an antigen antibody complex. And many times when these pathogens come in and these complexes are made, these complexes is usually the response of the immune system to fight against these pathogens. Now, in instances where you have these complexes, a lot of these complexes are now being made. Not only are they being made, they are now deposited into different organs of the body, making it difficult for those organs to function, causing swelling, causing different kind of reactions, um, pain, swelling, loss of function. These kind of reactions can be seen in type 3 hypersensitivity. An example is in our rheumatoid arthritis, our systemic lupus erythematosus. So many of these illnesses where you have joint pains, you have swelling, all these kind of illnesses that are linked to the immune system can be said to be type 3 hypersensitivity reactions. The last type of reactions are the type 4 hypersensitivity reactions, which we also refer to as the delayed hypersensitivity reactions. Now, these are hypersensitivity reactions that don't occur immediately there is exposure to pathogen or to irritant. Rather, there is a delayed response, and then you begin to see these hypersensitivity reactions come to play. And many of these hypersensitivity reactions, that's the type 4, are T cell mediated. So they don't have anything to do with antibody antigen response or complex production. Rather, is the T cells, T lymphocyte cells that mediate these particular reactions. And they are also commonly seen when you have organ transplant, and also when you have other illnesses such as contact dermatitis. So all these kind of illnesses, you can see swelling, redness, you can see different kinds of skin reactions, skin rashes, and these are pointers of symptoms that we see in hypersensitivity reactions. So it's important for us to understand when you talk about a hypersensitivity reaction, when you talk about an allergic reaction, is an exaggerated response of the immune system. The immune system responds to the presence of an irritant or a pathogen or a chemical or a pollutant, but this response is not the normal immune response. Rather, it's an exaggerated response. So the body exaggerates its response, and this particular pathogen or whatever, or irritant or whatever it is, has a way of really riling up the body. So thank you for listening to this. If you have any questions, you can just put them in the comments, and remember to like and share. Remember to ask any of your questions and then suggest topics that we can truly discuss. Do have a wonderful day.